Um, if you could say your bite that it's worse than your bark, you might be a jellicle cat. Is that anything?
It's not nothing.
Yeah, it's definitely something. The nuggets of something.
If you're the cock of the walk when you're walking alone, you might be a jellicle cat.
Maybe one more and he got me.
One more? Okay. If you're keen to be seen when you're smelling a rat, you might be a jellicle cat. He went really religious. Did you guys know that? He hosts like a religious game show now.
I'm not shocked by that.
Wait, who is that?
Jeff
Old
Foxworthy.
Deuteronomy.
Old
What?
Deuteronomy?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't look up like what were they doing after this movie came out. So wow.
Deuteronomy.
Yeah. I mean, it should have, like, he chose that name, right? So we should have seen that coming.
True, true.
No, but yeah, Jeff Foxworthy, he's just like, he's gone very religious. I guess it's not that shocking.
No.
No, that part's not.
I don't know how to start the podcast. So it'll be something like that or something along the lines of Jellicle Cats come out tonight, Jellicle Cats come one, come all. Or something more along the lines of welcome late to the movies. My name is Ben Holm. This podcast where my friends and I get to fill in our movie blind spots. Each week we'll pick a film that either I or guest hadn't seen before and really should have by now. This week, what? Not again. It's Cats 2019. Tom Hooper's film of there's cats in this one. Here to talk it through for a third time this month because it is Catshog Month. Every episode I relive the nightmare of watching cats. Here to talk through it. We've got a group of curious cats here today. Bree's here.
Film is a stretch for this movie.
Vaz is here.
Feline, fearless, faithful, and true. To others, what do? Jellicles do. Jellicles can. Jellicle cats sing. Jellicle can't chant. Done. I'm done.
And Sam's here.
Oh, I've never played the Egyptian before.
It's like, where have they been meeting then? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, we'll get into it. First off,
on the weird street with a bunch of cat-based businesses that are too big for cats.
Only once McCavity shows up because there's a Moriarty sign and the whole like square is all human related, and then he pops on top of that sign and everything changes to cats.
But there's also the wanted signs for McCavity as well.
Well, he's broken every human law.
That is true, which is really messed up.
He also planted those there. He planted those there so he could dramatically kidnap Jenny Any Dots later by drawing her attention to the signs and then saying like McCavity because he has a reverse Pokemon situation where he catches somebody by saying his own name.
Ineffable. Before we get into it, have you guys seen anything good recently?
I'll start. I like to just go more in. Well, I did watch Presence, the new Steven Soderbergh film. I thought it was great. Really interesting film. And I more just want to talk about Steven Soderbergh, who's one of my favorite directors. I just love what he's doing with his career. It's like the complete opposite of what Tarantino's doing, and I just love it. I keep hating what Tarantino's doing.
Certainly, in terms of frequency of release, it's another double Soderbergh year. He has another movie out in theaters in like 3 weeks.
Yep, Black Bag. Looking forward to that. I'm
also looking forward to. It looks really different because he is constantly trying stuff, which I love.
And it's same. I watched Lucky Logan. Love that.
Yeah.
High Flying Bird. Had a great time with that.
He had that string of straight to Netflix and then Max releases. That was High Flying Bird, The Laundromat. Let Them All Talk, No Sudden Moves. All good and very different. And Kimmy, which was also all good, all very different.
Yeah. I was a big fan of a lot of them. Well, The Laundromat I was kind of meh about, but
I actually agree. The other 4 I like a lot.
Yeah, 4 out of 5, pretty great.
I see, Bree, you have Presence logged as wants to watch. I also wants to watch it.
Yeah, I really want to watch that movie.
Yeah. For people who don't know, and Vaz, you can speak to this better, but it's from the perspective of like a ghost in a house, right? And the camera's moving around and stuff.
Yes. And one thing I actually I could have heard it on this podcast where Soderbergh, the way he filmed it is him figuring out like how to like film the movie that way, and it is shot like in sequence.
That's cool.
And I thought that was pretty interesting.
I heard an interview with him where he talked about how he had to wear like slippers and stuff so he wouldn't make noises. He was moving around with the camera because he, of course, does his own camera work.
Yes. And I love his camera work. He's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. At least in this one, he does his own camera work. I know he always does his own editing, often under a pseudonym.
A pseudonym, yeah. And also, I watched Magic Mike's Last Dance, which I was surprised to find out that a lot of people don't like, but I absolutely loved it.
How about the rest of y'all? Unless, Vaz, if you have anything else, I don't mean to cut you off.
That was
it. Since the last time, let's see. I finally saw A Few Good Men.
Oh, nice.
Really liked it despite Tom Cruise being in it. I think that was my first Tom Cruise movie. I just refused to see anything with him in it, but that was actually a decent movie. I had to do a big project for my master's program that was like based off the movie, where I had to they modernized it a little bit, but I basically had to I had to do a forensic examination of what's his face? Jack Nicholson's character, and had to find a bunch of hidden shit in his hard drive. So since then I was like, this movie might be interesting to watch, but I just don't want to watch Tom Cruise. But I ended up watching it anyway, and it was good despite.
It is good.
I finally saw Late Night with the Devil, and I absolutely loved it.
It's a fun one.
That was such a fun watch. That ending was probably one of my favorite jump scares. Was that one when the demon is actually coming out of the girl, and it cuts to static. I had a huge fear of TV static when I was younger that I had gotten over, and that one kind of re-triggered it. I almost shit my pants when that happened. Let's see what else. Finally saw Star Wars, the original, episode 4. We're gonna slowly go through all of them because I have only seen the last 2 Star Wars movies. I have not seen anything before that.
Nice. That's a weird place to jump in, but but now, yeah, I mean, you're backfilling now, so that's probably good.
Yeah, probably after this, we'll probably watch the next one in the series.
Yeah, Empire is really good.
And then to lead into the rest of the discussion, we watched the stage play direct-to-video of Cats before we watched the movie, because I had seen it and I absolutely love it. It's not exactly the same as the original musical because they had done cuts to it to make it a little more consumable on TV. So it's 40 minutes shorter than the original stage play. But it's so good. It's one of my favorite musicals, and I always the movie in 2019 is not good. I like it more than most people, but I feel like most people don't like it for the wrong reasons because they've never seen the stage play. So it's the stage play is also weird, and it's also horny, and it also doesn't make sense. Those aren't the reasons to not dislike the movie. The movie's just bad for a multitude of other reasons.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get into it, though, Sam, do you have anything you've seen recently?
I've mostly just been watching, what Bree watched. I don't think I have anything past that. The only things I would add is just one, A Few Good Men, one of my favorite movies. How we got to the point where Bree actually watched a Tom Cruise movie for me, one of the most romantic things she's ever done. And it was... I did talk to Vaz about this and briefly in passing before this, but I'll share it on the pod with Ben. It's amazing how much of that script is played of just Demi Moore's a bitch, and let's laugh at how much Demi Moore's a bitch. So unfortunately, for the sake of my growth, I watched this movie in high school and really liked it. I don't know if I'd watched it again in between. I probably had. and didn't really notice that. And then was rewatching it now with like the brain of a 35-year-old relatively progressive person. I was just like, well, she's not doing anything wrong. She's just doing her job and being mad at Tom Cruise for not doing his job. And then Tom Cruise just gets to be the hero the whole time, and then she also takes him out on a date for no reason at one point. Like,
oh, we don't talk about that dumb date scene.
Yeah, they could have just cut that scene. I don't know why they had it. But despite that, it's still a pretty good movie. I hate the line where they're in the car at Gitmo, and they're like, and she's like asking a bunch of very prudent questions, and then Tom Cruise just cuts her off like by saying like something along the lines of nobody likes her, and it just cuts away because we're also just think that's funny. It's like, oh yeah, that is funny that no one likes her. I'm like, oh great, okay. But yeah, past that, really hate. I know we don't have to go into this forever, but really hate that I have to watch Star Wars as the, shall I just call it the McClunky version, like on Disney Plus. Like, I was like, I can't wait to show you. I had completely just forgotten. Like, I had forgotten that that's like the only thing available. So I'm just sitting there trying to tell Bree, like, oh, here's the thing, and then it cuts to that scene in the desert where there's just
farting.
Like bad CGI animals, like worse than Jurassic Park CGI aliens animals just being there.
I didn't hate the CGI. I just wish they would have blended it a little bit more, because like I like the addition of like background storytelling, because I like the dumb bits of like someone trying to get on an alien and then falling off and shit like that. Like that adds character, but I just wish they would have blended it a little bit more, because it does stand out just a little too much how crisp it is compared to everything else.
Yeah. And that's George Lucas's legacy, is like all of his tinkering is like, here's my full vision finally. And it's just like ambient farting. And I don't know.
Yeah,
I like somebody like getting hit in the balls equivalent, or burping and stuff. Return of the Jedi has a lot of like, you're in Jabba's palace, and then you cut to someone outside Jabba's palace, and they like burp into the camera, and then it goes back. You're like, why did we add this? Anyway, that's a Lucas thing.
It feels like he thought it, or like it feels like he thought there was not enough razzmatazz
for kids,
and like,
I think.
for cats. So
yeah,
George Lucas's Cats would be much better because they'll add a bunch more CGI stuff, and they'll just cut to Jenny Anydots burping and farting.
So I know we got cats on the break, but I said for kids. Like he was adding stuff like.
Oh, I use it for kids. Nah, just keep it and let's transition, because I don't think I have anything else.
Now, I had been, I think I've talked about all of the Best Picture nominees that I've been watching. Civ 7 came out. I've been playing a lot of Civ 7. That's been my movie time this week. So, yeah, we'll get into this movie now. A transition I thought of that would be fun. Maybe I'll save it if it's a good enough bit. We'll figure it out. I thought it was weird. So the movie we're about to talk about, and we can transition. I've seen it a few times. And I'll ask you guys too, but I thought it was weird. Like, very famously, when this movie came out, they had to like put patches out to theaters who were projecting it digitally to change the versions, to finish some of the CGI, to edit different things. I thought, like, I hadn't seen this version this time, that like right before credits, as Jennifer Hudson is flying into the big cat face in the sky, she says McClunky directly into camera.
God damn it. I was waiting to see where this was going.
That was like a goddamn Undertaker, like getting thrown off like the fucking shitty morph Reddit, basically. Like, well done. I'm mad.
Thanks. So I've seen this movie 6 times.
How many in the last 2 weeks?
3.
Third
time in the last 2 weeks.
Very like, I wouldn't do anything I asked my subordinates to do of you.
That's right.
I think I made a joke at the beginning of the podcast. It's like, if Ben hasn't seen the movie as many times as he's going to do it in this podcast, we're legally allowed to not do the podcast.
That's right. I think that's fair.
This is the first time I've seen Cats sober. As I think I said, I don't remember if this got cut, but sorry, Mom. I watched it in like 2020 COVID with my roommates at the time. And I think at least half of us were high. I don't remember if all of us were, but there was a lot of inebriation happened in that room. And I thought it was just because I was high that I didn't understand what was going on. No. Turns out it's just a weird movie.
I think this is only my second time seeing it. But yeah, no, just the second one for this movie specifically.
This was my second time. The first time was during COVID, so I was pretty, lockdown base. This time I watched it with friends, and it was a lot more enjoyable. Of watching it, the movie's still bad, but I enjoyed watching it more than by myself.
What friends were there? Who showed up?
Oh, it was just I went to the Huntress's house.
Okay.
My friend the Huntresses, and watched it with my friend Leah and the parents.
Nice. I hope they knew what they were getting into.
Oh, I kept explaining the deal of the movie. A cat shows up, and they explain their deal, and
then
that's the whole movie. Yeah. Someone else shows up.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
and
a big tweet. What's that big tweet that went around where it's like, I'm sick of people saying that cats isn't or is confusing. It's just every cat introducing themselves and they're all fighting for a chance to die or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
There really is
2019 film. Yeah, that's it. In the 2019 film, they add the whole McCavity is catnapping folks.
Yep.
It's more straightforwardly like a talent show with a prizes death on stage to an extent. I mean, there's obviously other political allegory going on, as we all know. As Andrew Lloyd Webber said once, it's about cats. With that said, we've kind of already done the plot summary, right?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
So instead of that, Bree, you already mentioned the like very popular video version of this. That's from what, the late 80s or the late 90s, something like that.
98.
98. Okay, I think the show is late 80s. That movie is late 90s. It was maybe where
the show I think is an 80s show.
Yeah, they do it near the
81.
Based on the leg warmers. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm off all the way, but yes, it's extremely 80s aesthetically.
Yes.
And it remains so. Not in the movie though. They didn't fully commit to the leg warmers and everything, and they should have.
Yeah.
It would have been way better.
Well, I couldn't I had already seen it, so I knew what to expect, and it was like it felt like everything about this movie, and it's a recurring theme, is that it was just half measures all over the place, and it just felt like they needed to commit one way or the other, and they committed to nothing, and instead they got burned.
My sort of overarching takeaway, and let me know how you feel about this, is that it seems like they were like, okay, this is what was at the time the longest running show ever on Broadway. Now I think it's fifth. And I think also the same on the West End in London. And they were like, well, obviously this will just be successful. But then they were kind of like not understanding what people like about it. And also got sort of squeamish about like, it's really weird. We need to thread in some sort of overarching plot just so people have something to hold on to. We have to introduce this whole cloth character, the Francesca Hayward's character, Victoria, as sort of like an audience surrogate. So it makes sense that people are explaining who they are to someone because someone's new to the group, I guess. And I think it just makes it so much messier than if they just did the show, right? But I'm curious what you all think.
Yeah, that's my thing on it. I feel like they just kind of lost the plot of like what made the musical so good, and they just didn't trust their audience like even an inch, because the whole McCavity plot was completely unnecessary. Having Victoria be a speaking role was unnecessary. Like, it was just fine being a silent role. There were so many dumb jokes. Like, I feel like they specifically made Rebel Wilson Jenny Anydutch just to put fat jokes in it, which completely rubbed me the wrong way. They just completely took the heart and soul out of the musical to make the movie. It was very discouraging.
I forget who said this on some podcasts. I won't talk about it. So I'll cut this part out where I'm not remembering who to attribute this to. But Buster Jones is like supposed to be a play on old sort of upper class royalty, where it's like he's like excited that he's so big because it's like a sign of wealth and whatever. but James Corden plays him as like super not happy with his size, which is like James Corden I blame James Corden personally for not understanding that role.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
And then also being
on
my screen.
Yeah, you could have just stopped that.
The most offensive.
I blame James Corden. It's good enough.
Yeah. But yeah, and then he and Rebel Wilson all have the sort of like extremely lame, like, you know, elementary school kind of lazy jokes that aren't in the show.
What does she say? Like right before she's like spinning the chains, and like it's like the literal like climax of the McCavity.
Oh yeah,
plot.
it's really
some absolutely grown one-liner.
Was it like, I'm overweight? Check this out.
It probably wasn't. Honestly, I'm overweight. Check this out. Would have been way better than whatever she said.
It was some dumb cat pawn, like cats out of the bag or some dumb shit.
Oh my god!
It wasn't that smart. Is my gut reaction. Like we can't think of a dumb enough pun. I think
maybe it was like a cat's in the cradle. Like it was like literal to that like level.
Time to drown the cat. No.
I think I still have the. We can move
Don't
on.
Don't mess with the crazy cat lady.
Yeah, it was that.
God, yeah, that was it.
Right. It's not even a pun.
It's not a pun. The concept of a crazy cat lady probably doesn't exist in that universe.
I mean, there are humans, which is the weird thing.
Yeah,
there are humans because Victoria gets abandoned at the beginning.
We should. We could just tear down everyone one by one, with the exception of Skimbleshank Throw Cat, which we can all agree should have won and was robbed in the as the jellicle choice.
He wasn't there.
We'll get to Skimble. Get to Skimble.
But yeah, Jenny Any Dots. That song sucks. The song's bad.
Song sucks.
Yeah, that song's bad.
The cockroach thing is weird.
It sets you up early to like this CGI is bad in a way that makes me nauseous, and then it's like, am I sure this is nausea? And then it's like, yes. Well, here's Jenny Any Dots. She's gonna eat some roaches with human faces.
Yep. And what was the mice got a callback? Like what? Like did we really think the mice played that well?
Yeah, they played super well, and like they get a callback that seems added after the fact because no one reacts to them.
Yep.
And there's like an ADR voice line of like, "Run!" Like they're worried they're about to be eaten, and no one's reacted to their presence.
I just need to mention this because I saw it. Universal hoped that cats would appeal to young women as counter-programming to Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker. I'm going to kill myself. And they emphasize Taylor Swift in the marketing. I want to die. There's so much wrong with that.
They absolutely emphasize Taylor Swift in the marketing.
Yes.
That is true.
Multiple
Academy Award winners and Academy Award nominees. Taylor Swift's here too. Jason Derulo's film debut is happening. Come get it.
I will say this is probably my favorite Taylor Swift performance in her career, which is not saying much.
It's really bad.
It is, but it's largely just her singing, which is the only thing she it's something that she does well. But
just as someone who forces themselves to see a movie every day, I assume you had to at some point fill a space with the Erators movie, right?
The which one?
The Erators movie? Her movie? Era?
Oh, Erators. No, I have not seen the Erators yet.
I don't know why I was pluralizing it.
I did see Amsterdam, which she is incredibly bad in that. I actually...
Yeah, but unfairly, she gets to go to the Heaviside Lair in Amsterdam.
Yes. Does she does get run over by a car in that movie as well.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait, did she... was it Amsterdam, you said?
Yeah.
She's in the movie for like 30 seconds, and then somebody picks her up and throws her in front of a moving car. It's a fucking terrible movie.
In front of a crowd, and everyone's like, oh, well, it's probably not the person. Yes. And then they blame the two people who clearly didn't do it.
Yeah,
I don't.
We're all looking for the guy who did this.
That probably my bit of I want to see that movie now probably came off a little strong. I'm sick of Taylor Swift. I don't hate Taylor Swift. But who did Amsterdam? That was someone prominent, right?
That was David
Prominent.
Orussell.
Oh,
prominent,
gotcha.
sure.
Oh, yeah. I just like like nary a day or two ago did an entire rundown of David O. Russell to Bree about how he's terrible, and I hate that I like some of his movies, but
bad people can make good things.
He had the juice for a while, as far as like all of his movies got multiple acting nominations and everything for a while. But it seems like we're past that as a culture.
I think so, and I think I hope Amsterdam was like the death nail, because that movie's worse than this movie.
Yeah,
this one's at least interesting.
It got so many. I mean, I guess this movie also got so many people in it, but
I mean, it's multiple Academy Award winners.
Speaking of people we hate, if we want, I mean, we can go back if we want, but if we want to keep it moving, we can talk about how fucking awful Buster Jones was too. Because
we can jump around, but if we want to talk like cat by cat, we could go chronologically for once. But we can jump around.
I kind of like going chronologically just because it's so.
Then we should go Rum Tum Tugger next. Then.
Yeah, that's. Oh wait, Rum Tum Tugger was in between. Shit, sorry, I forgot about that.
Rum Tum Tugger is my absolute favorite cat in the original. How did they remove all of his swagger, even changing him to Jason Derulo? I don't understand. Jason Derulo is charming. Like, he's kind of corny in his music, but like, how did they manage to just suck all of the charisma out of Rum Tum Tugger and Jason Derulo and just make it awful instead?
This is going to sound like really kind of bro-y, and like, I don't mean it this to be so, but it just feels like Rum Tum Tugger in this movie comes across as a virgin.
Yeah. Well, he's a curious cat.
He seems like he's trying to be a rock star instead of actually being one, like in the stage play.
Like, he comes across as a guy who's like heard about sex and has made it his whole personality. But I don't know.
It's not a good interpretation of it. It's so bad. They didn't use Jason Derulo's voice well either. Like, he's a much better singer than that. How did they ruin him so? Like, they ruined so many of the cats, but Rum Tum Tugger's interpretation is probably the most offensive to me personally.
Yeah, it's not good. That's for sure. I think there's a lot of times like Derulo, for instance, where I'm like, this was his first movie. That's a tough break. A lot of these performances, I don't know how much to put on the performer. You know what I mean? Because it's
I actually
don't blame him at all.
And I think the performances are doing fine enough for most part. I think Judi Dench is a little flat. And James Corden is particularly bad. But that's
I do put a lot on James Corden. That's fair.
I do. But he's also he's been in 3 musicals that I've seen, and all 3 of those musicals sucked, and he was a sucky part in those.
Yep.
I don't want to just bag on James Corden, but I don't
know. Into the Woods is one of my favorite musicals of all time, and Disney completely hamstrung that musical, but he was certainly not a good part of it.
No, I didn't. I've never seen the original Into the Woods, and I do want to, but Into the Woods, the movie, I did not care for at all, and I love Sondheim.
They did a revival of it, and I fucking missed it. I'm so upset. It only they had only toured for like 6 months or something, and I completely missed tickets, and I'm so mad about it.
This actually pops up right when Sondheim died like a month after. It came out.
I think they at least Broadway has been doing a whole revivals of all of his stuff. I think they're probably trying to keep Sondheim on Broadway for the rest of forever, maybe, because they're constantly switching between different Sondheim musicals on Broadway.
I haven't seen the Company reboot either, but
I think that one's probably done now. I think Merrily We Roll Along is in there now.
Yeah, the Daniel Radcliffe had a version on Broadway with that, and someone else that was famous that I forgot might have been. Oh God, I can't think of his name. Kristoff from Frozen. Jonathan.
Oh, that guy.
Jonathan Groff. But yeah, Voz, for what it's worth, I think there's an entire Into the Woods 70s on Broadway version on YouTube just for free.
I'm sure, because I was already able to find the revival of Company from 2006 on there, and I found the original Sunday in the Park with George on YouTube. So I'm sure the Into the Woods should be on there.
Yeah, so just in case, Case actually did a version of Into the Woods, which is the only one I've seen, which was weirdly good for case. I mean, I know we had a state champion D3, but state champion. Actually, I don't know if they do D3 in theater. I don't know. We won states.
You saw that when you were a teenager. You have no idea if that's actually good, right?
I guess, but I more meant like I like the substance of the play. I don't.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of really good jokes with that, specifically with the baker's wife and stuff, and a lot of it's raunchy, so they had to cut that. And you don't hire Emily Blunt to be raunchy. Anyway, no. We're way off, and I'm doubting any.
I'm surprised Case had the budget to get Emily Blunt. I've only been paying attention for the last few minutes.
It was very brief. She showed up, she left.
That's how she met. That's how
John.
She met John. Yeah, John was hanging out.
She's like, I've got an idea for there's a big imaginary purple man. He's played by Steve Carell. That's my Emily Blunt. You know your friend Steve from The Office? What if he was a big purple imaginary guy?
Oh, I
have Ryan Reynolds' number right here.
I love this. We'll call it The Quiet Place.
Okay, I wasn't thinking horror, but I guess maybe make that first.
I don't even remember where we were. Did I have Rum Tum Tugger?
Rum Tum Tugger.
He's a curious cat, I've heard.
He's a curious cat.
Yeah.
If he wants to go out and you let him out, he'll want to come in.
Yep.
Yeah.
He seems really impossible, this guy.
If you do watch the stage version, it's a very well done song. The guy playing Rum Tum Tugger really pops. He's got very Mick Jagger energy, Elvis energy, just running around the stage. You get this. You actually get the sense that all the cats want to fuck him, and he wants to fuck all the cats, and maybe has fucked all the cats already. But yeah, no, it's good. It's a shame what they did. Derulo should have been let loose. They edited his bulge, right? That was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Release the butthole bulge cut.
Yeah. It's what the show needs.
I'm gonna rip this movie a new asshole because it didn't have an asshole.
It didn't have enough.
Itself. Yeah.
The one thing about this version of Rum Tum Tugger is he does have like a mane kind of thing going on, which at least is the most reminiscent of the stage makeup costuming of anything in the movie. Because they all have like the big like Thundercats hair shit going on because it's from the 80s. And he's the only one who has something approximating that.
It would have been fine. It would have been better than the CGI. Like I know we touched on that a little bit earlier, but
yeah, I guess Judi Dench does too. To an extent.
Yeah. It's hard to tell with some of them because they are wearing some of them are wearing fur coats.
Yeah. And then some of them take off fur coats and it's revealed that they have clothes underneath, which did happen in the play, I will say. So I can't. Jenny Any does have a costume change.
It does suck when she takes her skin off.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I didn't like that it was actually a big plot point to the film either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was free to not.
Another thing that why is this a callback?
Yep.
Here's an absolutely confounding image that I'm putting in this. And the part that's confounding about it, we haven't talked about Old Deuteronomy yet, but you mentioned Judi Dench is wearing a fur coat. However, Judi Dench was in a full green bodysuit.
The whole time.
And you see, and you're like, oh, maybe everyone was. No, Ian McKellen's wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
Ian McKellen's... Good for Ian McKellen getting to be mostly normal.
Judi Dench has 3% of her body looks like CGI, but I guess the fur coat is the fur coat, and that's she has human hands and a wedding ring on.
Yeah.
Extremely human hands. It's horrible. It's horrible. And I guess it's all CGI, which was shocking to me.
Yeah, I thought at least I thought more of the clothes would be, no, but I guess not. Just Ian.
Yep, just Ian. Which again, like you said, good for him.
Yes.
So that like I said, a confounding image in a lot of ways.
So I'm curious. If this movie remained the same plot wise, production, blah 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 blah, but instead of everyone being CGI'd cats, they were just wearing clothes, but they were still cats. They had ears and a tail. but like they were just wearing like fashionable clothes, but they were pretending to be cats. Would that have been better? Would this movie be good?
So we were talking about it last night. I personally think if they would have gone practical and like done costumes like the stage play, but then maybe just CGI'd like movement in the ears and tails, but then just gone just a little bit harder on looking like cats, like CGI paws, like why'd they have human hands and feet? Like that was so jarring. The faces were too human. Like just go practical with the costumes. You don't need to have a CGI cat body and just animate the tail and the ears. Like, cause that was probably one of the only things I liked about the movie. I liked how expressive their ears and tails were. I felt like it was very accurate. But just it's like they couldn't commit to whether they wanted them to look human or like a cat, and it just looked bad.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, I think there's like an issue when watching this movie that I like. You guys have a cat, so that helps. But I almost like need to. I said in the first episode I needed to look at a picture of an actual cat afterwards because I'm like, this isn't their proportions, right?
Yeah, no, it's so.
They don't look like this. Their ears aren't in the very middle of the top of their heads, right? I don't think typically. But yes, they are expressive. So one thing I did want to ask you about is the tails have come up a lot in these episodes with people saying like, I feel like proportionally cats aren't typically like 80% tail in body length, but they're so long and they're moving all over the place and they're like indicating things with their tails and whatnot. And I don't feel like cats do that. They don't have like monkey tails, but I don't know. I've never seen a cat clearly.
That I don't mind all that much. Like if you're having cats that are more human-ish, like I can kind of write off.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And then
there's a suspension of disbelief in that I can give the movie.
You're right. I need to be more generous to this film's production.
Yes, thank you.
I think, but the main thing that you're hitting at is like, it's probably better if you do practical. It's definitely better if it's practical versus very bad CGI, which is what they landed on.
Yeah.
Where it has like, I always think of Mark Ruffalo's face in the Hulkbuster. That is just like floating all over the place and not matching up with the movement of the thing at all. And like the 3-second shot of him in that one Avengers movie, who knows which one. And that's everyone in this movie. Like, I feel like there's no sense of gravity and weight. Like it's just floaty CGI. I always think of it as floaty. Like their faces aren't really mapping one to one with where their heads moving. And it's just like so uncanny valley. Yeah.
A friend also pointed out the cats with collars on. The collars, like if on a close up, they look like they're also floating around, but they are. I guess they were CG, but they still don't come off correctly.
No, the fur is like, yeah.
Yeah, they should have just done costumes.
They should have just done costumes. You're totally right.
I'm also curious. Does anyone what's everyone's favorite cat?
Yeah, we kind of got off. I was gonna say we sort of got off of the chronological thing, but that's okay.
I said let's get off.
Yeah, let's get off. Is this time to talk about Skimbleshanks? If Sam's going to go next for his favorite cat,
I mean, it's unequivocally my favorite cat. I'm here to hear your bullshit. If anyone wants to run down Skimbleshanks, I am impenetrable in my love for Skimbleshanks. So
Skimbleshanks is the only song they did well in the movie. Like that is the only song that I feel like actually had a lot of the heart and soul from the original stage play. That's the only song I can give it that.
It's actually kind of cooking there.
Go ahead.
So I haven't seen the stage play. I don't know this music from outside of this movie. I'm not a big Andrew Lloyd Webber musical guy because I don't know. I could never get into any of his music. I've seen the movie for Phantom of the Opera and I saw the play for it, and I could not tell you any song in Phantom of the Opera that doesn't go Phantom of the Opera. It's here.
Masquerade.
Nope, I don't know.
Well, he's gonna be really mad that you didn't read his copy of Dialogue Triumph.
I know.
Yeah, he's gonna be so mad at you.
I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Okay. But I will say, Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat, and the Mr. Mistopheles song, I was sort of into. I could not tell you how they go right now because they don't stick with me at all. But I was I appreciated them more on my second watch. I also did go into this movie this time actively trying to enjoy myself and looking for things that I liked.
I will say, while the whiplash is palpable, I do really like Ian McKellen's Gus. Like Ian McKellen puts his whole ass into it. I think he does a very good job. Like kind of being subtle. He's like doing the combination where like he doesn't have a lot to do, but he's putting extra effort into the little stuff. It's like I don't want to say he's being subtle and he's chewing scenery because like it's not the same thing. Like it's kind of polar opposites, but it does kind of feel a little bit like he's kind of putting in like putting a lot of ass into a small part. But then to rip from this very sad, dour ballad storytelling into Skimbleshanks with no transition, which does kind of happen in the stage play also, I will say. I think those are back to back in the stage play, and it is equally as jarring.
Yeah, the stage play kind of just cuts to songs, and it'll be whiplash in the stage play for sure.
Yeah, really, he really took the wind out of the sails of Gus, the theater cat. Like he just bore his soul, and then like, yeah whatever, fuck you. Let's go to the railway.
Let's see what the railroad cat's got. But I like in the original Skimbleshanks. I will say the plus for Skimbleshanks in the original, at least in the version online, I don't think it's the original Skimbleshanks, but he has a Scottish accent, and I think that actually gives it a little more pop. But in the movie, they had the tap dancing. The tap dancing isn't in the Broadway play, as far as I know. At least not in the version I saw. I think it actually helps a little bit. It's a little corny, and he's doing his dance and he's doing like a little chugga 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 the whole time. But like, I think it adds. I mean, I'm a sucker for a key change. I'm a sucker for a fast paced song. It's got both of those. So, but like. It was funny because we were watching it yesterday, and like I came on and I was doing my usual pomp about how much I love Skimbleshanks, and we started talking about like other things in the movie, especially things we don't like, and then it key changed, and I just started mid sentence, stopped what I was saying, and was just like punching my thigh, just screaming "the cat of the railway train." Like, that song rips. I'm sorry if anyone doesn't like that song, they can meet me outside, and that's maybe a top 5 Broadway song for me. I don't know why.
They can cats you outside.
They can cats me outside. How about cat?
There you go. Yeah, that one's good. It's that's like, as far as suspension of disbelief goes, that's one I don't mind, where all of a sudden all the cats are wearing like tap shoes. I'm fine with it there.
Bree, do you have a favorite cat?
Oh, mine's Rum Tum Tugger.
Okay.
Like, not in
He's
this
movie.
Not like.
Do you have a favorite in movie cat?
For this movie, I don't know if I have a favorite, honestly. It's probably Skimbleshanks in the movie.
Yeah.
Like in the stage play, it is Rum Tum Tugger, but I don't like this adaptation of them.
Is it Idris Elba McCavity?
So like, I feel like they could have done McCavity so much more sinister, and because I feel like they were trying to do both sinister and like and kind of corny to like kind of match the vibe of the rest of it, and again they just didn't commit to one, so it just ended up being bad. I feel like they could have done him as like what's the villain's name in Thor 4, Christian Bale. Like, how like jarring like the themes are with like how goofy Thor 4 is and how serious he is. It's a God Eater, God Slayer, something like that.
I think he's God Slayer.
Yeah, like he is so serious and like super threatening, but the rest of the Thor movie is so goofy. I feel like they could have done that with McCavity and actually would have worked, but they didn't. They just made him a little too goofy near the end. And he does the Matt Berry thing where instead of like when he turns into a bat, he yells bat, but he just says meow or McCavity.
Meow.
McCavity.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
I was joking near the end when he was dancing with Taylor Swift. It's like he took this entire role and like they were like, Idris, we need you to be McCavity. He's like, I'm not going to do a British accent, but he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that unless you give me this much money. And I get to dance with Taylor Swift because my kids love Taylor Swift. and three other ridiculous demands. Like, I need a hat the whole time.
Yeah.
And like they were just like, yeah, sure. And he's like, ah, shit. I guess they got it.
Yeah. So I won't go through this whole thing again because I've said it before in this month, and then I've probably said it just in passing to everyone here before. But it's like the Donald Duck thing where you accept like, okay, he has a shirt on but no pants, but it's fine, and that's him fully clothed, and he's got a little hat. And some of these cats have shoes on, some of them have jackets, some of them have like, suspenders, a vest, yeah. And you just accept like, okay, those are clothed. The ones that are fully without clothes don't read as naked because they don't have clothes. Those ones don't have clothes. But when McCavity, the whole movie, has like a trench coat and a hat on, and then when Idris Elba shows up fully nude doing his big like dance like this, it's like he plays as nude, and it's also just like Idris Elba's skin tone, and because of the CGI, they're all like, no one's that. He's like a very short-haired cat that is also Idris Elba's skin tone. So it's just like a fully Ken doll smooth Idris Elba. Just like, it's really disturbing.
It's so weird.
And it plays as nudity. I don't know.
Ugh. I hate it.
It's a lot of weird decisions.
Ben, your favorite cat?
I like, so last night was the first time I watched it with subtitles. But I sort of liked that it was impossible to tell what Ian McKellen was claiming was his main claim to fame, which was "Fire for a Friddle, the Fiend of the Fell."
Yeah, I mean, he said it very clearly 3 times.
Very rural juror.
Yeah, very rural juror.
Yeah. Anyway, I like that part of it, and I like Ian McKellen because there's Sir Ian McKellen, and this is so you might think on the 6th time I don't want to elongate the viewing experience, but I do stop it and go back and watch every time. Ian McKellen shows up in the background of a shot when old Deuteronomy gets there.
Yep.
And then they walk into the Egyptian.
Yep.
You see him do a thing. He walks into the Egyptian. Then while everyone's like filing in, it cuts to Ian McKellen, who mid-line goes meow, meow, meow. It's amazing.
Warm-ups.
Yeah, he's introduced kind of as a jump scare. Like you're just kind of going along, and then they just cut to him. Like what the? Like he's just there.
And then
much more sad in the stage play too. Like it's so much more sad. Like I actively almost tear up when Gus shows up in the stage play because he's like much more shaky. Like he barely seems like he's aware what's happening. He has to be like helped across the stage, and he has to sit down. Like
he doesn't sing either. Like
he does a little teeny bit, but he doesn't do as much as Ian McKellen does in the movie.
Yeah.
And these cats decide to let him suffer longer and live.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ian McKellen, Ian McKellen sings this whole song in the stage play. So other cat basically just sings all the shitty things that are happening to him, but it's like, it kind of comes across as mean. It'd be like, yeah, his hands are shaking because of palsy and he can't hear anything. It's like, hey, he's right there. Like, can we stop being so
I can't hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, the stage play, it was at the time, I think it was like a 90 or 91-year-old actor that was just kind of doing live performances. Like that's very impressive. Like because he does, Bree pointed out, I forgot, he does sing at the end a little bit. I forgot, like it's probably just the fire of a fiddle line or something. But
there is in the stage version, there's a lot more of other cats like hyping up other cats as opposed to like cats only singing about themselves, right?
That's a perfect transition to Mephistopheles because I
guess
got so
many
I
hate so much because that also ruins
speaking of
Rum Tum
Tugger.
More.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, right. I'm so mad.
Mike Foz, you're correct. Magical Mr. Mephistopheles probably like we can sit here objectively and say like Memory's obviously a phenomenally written song. I'm not a ballad guy. I don't like I'm fine with it. I'm fine with objectively saying it's great.
While we're talking about Memories, I think it's also a good song. But the last rendition of this, or anytime it came up, honestly, I was just super bored.
Yeah, it's slow. That's kind of my problem. And to be honest, I don't want to sound like a hater, but in the stage play, it's kind of similar. I feel like every time Chris Bell is on the stage, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I got to lock in for this.
One of the things I always say is I love what's always supposed to be like the standout powerful ballad in musicals, but I only need to listen to them once. Any other time, I feel like I need to fast forward through it because I get bored. It's like I understand, and it's really good. And yes, you deserve every single award under the sun for them, but I only want to listen to you once.
But what if it was broken up over like the course of an hour and you heard it like 3 different times?
You know what? Defying Gravity and Wicked 1, I can do that.
Yeah.
At least that's within like a half hour. But yeah, just to Ben, unless you had something else about memory, I don't want to cut you off. But
I think it's funny. One of the first time that like everyone's like, "There's Grisabella, she fucking sucks, we hate her," and then Academy Award winner Jennifer Hudson crawls away on all fours. And it's not consistent. Most of the time, they're bipedal.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's really funny that like it's an overarching thing about this movie. They change their mind every day about about the rules. There's just no consistent rules. There's no consistent scale. Sometimes cats are the size of chairs. Sometimes they're the size of like a railway nail.
Sometimes a loaf of bread is smaller than a cat.
Yep. Sometimes a fork is 5 times the size of a cat. Sometimes they have shoes on. Sometimes they don't. And sometimes they're crawling. Sometimes they're doing ballet dances. And it just sucks. When they're dancing, it's one thing, but for the most part, they're walking around on 2 legs.
Yep.
And as 90% of the cats are on 2 legs saying, "Fuck you, Grisabella," Jennifer Hudson crawls away on all 4s.
Yep.
And
it just sucks. It just sucks. There was not a steady hand on the wheel of this production. I blame Tom Hooper for that.
Yeah.
Well, the bipedal to like going on 4s is also in the stage play. I will say they kind of transition between both depending on the choreography.
But I bet it's justified there.
That's fair. It seems a little more natural.
You can tell by tone when there's like, here's the creative license of now this cat is like performing versus being a cat or whatever.
The one jarring one with that is in the movie when there's one cat that gives Mistopheles his hat with her mouth. It's like you were just using your hands the entire time. Why are you now giving him his hat with your mouth?
And I hate when they're nuzzling. I just hate when they're
I actually do hate that. I will. I get it.
It sucks so bad. Yeah, I get it, but I hate it. Right? There's no rules. How cat are these cats?
Yeah.
Can they use? Do they have thumbs? Sometimes.
I'm pretty sure Mistopheles and Victoria fucked at some point in Act 3. Like, it seems like...
Yeah.
Like...
That also, weird romantic subplot that they just fucking shoehorned in the movie.
Burns my
Why?
blood.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
We need to see these cats get together.
Go. No, you should go, because I'm going to go on for a while.
All right. I wanted to say my favorite cats.
Yes.
Please
absolutely get your favorite cat in first.
I don't really have too much to say about them, but it is Rumple Teaser and Mungo Jerry, my 2 favorite cats. Just because they're just little scamps who are just bastards. They don't have any alliance besides to each other. They'll work with McCavity, and then they'll also be like, "Hey, sorry, bud, we're just having fun here."
It is funny based on the content of the McCavity song that where they were like, "We just thought this was a bit of fun. We didn't know he was going to do human crimes." It's like she just said he's done every human crime.
Everyone. Think of a human crime. Think of the most subhuman crime.
We didn't think he'd kidnap someone. It's like he's committed tax evasion. Like
he's committed treason.
He walked.
Racketeering.
Some that I don't want to say because it is fucked up.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
And McCavity had done it.
Accessory after the fact.
Yeah.
He didn't even need to get into that one. He got into that one just for fun.
Manslaughter.
Harboring a fugitive.
Involuntary manslaughter.
Voluntary manslaughter. Every degree of murder, surely.
Yeah, he actually had to do multiple murders because he wanted each one.
He had to knock. He platinumed crime.
Possession.
Platinum trophy. He also pirated
intent
movies.
To distribute. Yeah. Piracy. Every kind of piracy.
He actually downloaded. He downloaded a car.
Yeah.
Wow.
This bitch should be good. Um,
All right, I'm done on my. I also do like the name Rumble Teaser and Mungo Jerry. Those are my favorite names.
Their song is very good in the stage play as well, Boz. And Rumple Teaser has a extremely strong accent. We were trying to place it, we couldn't even place it.
Oh, Rumple Teaser in the stage play is so fun. Like, I love her voice. Like, it's the Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser song in the stage play is my second favorite song after Rum Tum Tugger. And the girl that plays Rumple Teaser has a voice that can almost be annoying, but like it just works because it's more in like it just sounds more scampy, and it sounds like the girl that does it in the movie is trying to do that, but it just sounds annoying. Like, I can't explain it because I don't like her voice in the movie. Like, I am sorry to that actress. I do not like her voice in this movie. I don't know how else she sings, if she's better outside, but I didn't like it here. But in the stage play, it seems like she's trying to emulate that, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I see you have posted some obscure British crimes.
Yeah, he's done all these things.
Well, that's actually a really easy way to get treason. So,
yeah, he's put a British stamp upside down. He's gambled in libraries. He's jumped the queue at a tube station.
But the fact that it's not illegal to put a British stamp upside down. It's treason.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. So he's probably done some other kind of treason, and he had that. He's like, I can check that. I got the bronze for that one.
Yep. All right. I want to go on my Mistopheles
Sorry.
whole. No, you're fine. I enjoyed that. I don't enjoy this. Mike Foz was correct earlier when he said he really liked Mr. Mistopheles. It's a great song.
I really
He loved it. I think he said it was his favorite song of all time. He has he wants to kiss Mr. Mistopheles on his magic little mouth.
No, I want to nuzzle him.
He wants to nuzzle him. In the play, imagine if you will, old Deuteronomy has been freshly kidnapped by world's greatest monster, McCavity. Finishing his final platinum chip. I've been playing too much Fallout. Platinum trophy of crime, and they're like, "Oh man, we got to do someone that helps this." Would you rather some Ben Platt and Pitch Perfect motherfucker the whole time who's been a sad boy doing weird magic? Or would you rather some cool-looking tuxedo 80s man who's been doing backflips in the background all night, who gets introduced by fucking cool Rum Tum Tugger? Rum Tum Tugger, everyone's crying. Rum Tum Tugger comes up and goes, "Guys, shut the fuck up. I got exactly what we gotta do. My boy, Magical Mr. Mistopheles, has been doing fucking insane shit this whole time, and he's ready for his final thing. It's this." And he sings the whole fucking song. Not Mistopheles trying to convince himself that he's good at magic. It's Rum Tum Tugger going, "This motherfucker is clever with dice." He's just this guy, and he fucking plays him up. Mistopheles whoop de boop. They actually kind of do a cool thing. They do there's one of the recurring cats is like put in a sheet, and they do like a little razzmatazz, and then old Dute's under it, which is really cool because the guy who plays old Dude in the play is a really big dude, so you get this little tiny cat turns into this giant man. That's just like, for the wrestling fans, it kind of looks like an older Keith Lee. It's kind of like that guy's vibe. Just pops out and hugs Mistopheles, or not? Yeah, Mr. Mistopheles, and then Mistopheles just kind of like spins and disappears because he's really cool. He's a cool guy.
Is such a cool character in the stage play, and in the movie they just turn him into an insecure simp. Like, it's so weird. Like, how he's just kind of, like, cowering in the corner because he has this crush on the new cat. And it's just, like, this is not his character at all, and why did they do this to him? It's, besides Rum Tum Tugger, honestly, probably worse, actually. They did him so dirty as a character. Like, why? He was so cool. They had him sing his own song. Like, I know they kind of tried to, like, amp him up, but, like, Munkustrap is the one that does it. But, like, I hate that they had him sing his own song like that. Like, no, it's terrible. I hate this adaptation of Magical Mr. Mistopheles. It's so bad.
Somehow the song's still good, but probably just on the the back of like the song being good, but like it's like the song in the play is again one of my favorite songs in the whole musical. It's probably like a 9 out of 10 Broadway song for me. This movie like just it still ends up being like a 7 because the song's good, but it's just like the context, like the storytelling within the song is just bad. It just ruins the vibe.
It ruins
like,
the character.
Maybe if I didn't know like otherwise, I would have felt better about it, but
and like Rum Tum Tugger like runs from him in the movie. He's like scared of him, which kind of adds to the whole virgin thing that they it's just like why did they have him run from him? Is he scared of someone that is insecure about his magic? Like it's not like he hurt anyone with it. Like it's just nothing is happening rather than bad things happen. So why is he running?
Why are you running?
That's a good point. I don't think it's a very good movie.
No, it's really
ultimately
not. No.
You know it's illegal to die in Parliament?
You haven't listened to a goddamn word I've said in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, but did you hear what Ben said? It's illegal to die in Parliament.
That's his last trick.
That's something McCavity did. McCavity, I imagine, has 9 lives, right? They don't really bring that up.
He gave he's had to give up a few of those lives to die in their illegal places.
Yep.
Why is it illegal to die?
That's why
I was listening. Yes. There's a Polygon article, the Cats movie nerfed Mr. Mistopheles, that I think lines up a lot with your arguments as well. I guess that he's sort of like a sad boy that needs to be pumped up is nice or whatever. But it's cool when you're just like, oh, here's the guy that's been presented to me as the coolest motherfucker, Rum Tum Tugger. And he's like, but guess who I think's cool? And who can do like legit miracles and whatnot. Bring him out.
Yeah. Insane. Nerfed is definitely the best way to put it. I'm reading this article now.
Yeah. You're correct.
Thank you.
Anytime. What else do we have to say about Cats?
I'm not.
Sorry. Go ahead.
My thing's not going to be too long. I do like the production design of this movie, even though the scale is completely off from like how big the cats are compared to other things. But I do kind of like that it's just a set. I don't know how much of it was actually like CG or like real. But some of it I did kind of like, though it does remind me of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where they got scaled down really well. And I think they probably should have watched that just to get a better idea of scale. But I think was an all right part of the movie.
I agree. I thought a similar thing. I thought like, that's part of the thing I went to with the CG. I was like, you could have just, I don't know if you could have practically built those sets, but like whatever they did to build those sets to just have like just cool fucking cat costumes in there, I think would have ripped. Like, so, and I wouldn't have been paying as much attention to the scale.
Yeah.
Because I would have just been like, oh, whatever. They got cat costumes on. They're not really cats.
Like if they got like an awesome costume designer to like make everyone's like cool cat designs and whatever, like that would have been sick as fuck.
Yep.
It would have been.
Even if with a nerf Mr. Mistopheles, and he just but he's like, hey, he's nerfed, but like he looks sick as fuck.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made the movie like a million times better, but it would have helped a lot if they didn't look like that.
It really would have helped a lot. It's just not a good movie.
No. My other thing, and I think this is probably my last point, because like I can go on about a whole bunch of little details, but this one is another thing that actively pissed me off. Taylor Swift in it. They just kind of give her Bum Ballerina and they completely change the role, because Bum Ballerina very specifically hates McCavity in the stage play. Like she rejects Grisabella, and she's her best friend is like Demeter or Demeter in the stage play, and they both sing in the film. I think Bum Ballerina has it as a solo in like the original play, but she sings the McCavity, but as like this is a bad person. We don't want him around. He is a criminal. And then they turn around and then they give it to Taylor Swift, and she's a lackey. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like Bum Ballerina is such a great, like, not a main cat, but still like a phenomenal cat with a great voice in the stage play. And they just kind of like I don't like the change that they did with the song either. I think the original song is way better. But yeah, they just turn her into a lackey for no reason. Other than that's probably how they just wanted it to go, to put Taylor Swift in it and to have her like not be in it as much, because Bum Ballerina is in a lot of the stage play. Like she's very flirtatious with a lot of the other cats. She sings with Rum Tum Tugger a lot. She dances with him in the Jellicle Ball. So they probably didn't want Taylor Swift or couldn't pay for her enough to be in like all of it like that. But I just thought that was a weird transition to give that character.
It is odd. It's like unexplained why she's not there after that song ends, because like they're, Monkey Strap, Robbie Fairchild's cat character, like the main one there, is sort of like interrogating, like, oh, where'd he take her? Where to the few cats that remain? It's like, well, where'd Taylor Swift go? Why is no one asking her?
I assume she was murdered on the barge, right?
Yeah, he needed another degree of murder.
Yeah, he needed a first degree.
Yeah, and she knew that going in.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like the lyrics of that song, if you just sort of change your facial expression, it can be like critical of McCavity versus like, this guy's dope. Look at all these cool things he's done.
Yeah.
Especially the part where she's like, I heard he cheats at cards. And it's like, well, that doesn't sound like a good thing. It doesn't seem like you're excited about it.
So strange.
Yeah. Or not even I've heard. I know he cheats at cards. Like, I know he cheats at cards. It's happened to me.
That's why he's so cool.
Good. Right, yeah. There's a lot of weird changes. If there's one change that you could reverse in this movie, what would it be, do you think?
One.
Is just one. And I guess...
Just one?
Just one.
I'm trying to think if which one would like have the best domino effect of good things to change for the rest of the movie.
I don't know if it's cheating to say do like practical costumes, because maybe you have to say like, in fairness, maybe you have to pick one person to be in a practical costume,
right?
To make it like one change instead of like, that's a pretty huge one change, I guess.
Oh man, I don't know.
I think make the Bustafer Jones song longer, right?
Oh god.
Yeah.
Run it back.
That would change the movie.
Oh.
I do like that he doesn't kidnap Rum Tum Tugger. Like, he doesn't see him as a threat.
He's
Which
not
makes
really.
sense in the movie.
Isn't that? How do you think Rum Tum Tugger's feeling when McCavity's like, no one's left, you got to pick me? And he's like, I'm right here. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was part of this too.
Is Rum Tum Tugger going for the Angelico?
I think in the movie they don't. Like, I think in the movie it's more selective, isn't it? Like, there's only like a few of the cats that actually want to.
Though his main song comes before Old Deuteronomy arrives, he is the first one to approach Old Deuteronomy and the Egyptian and be like, let's get the party started with your permission. And then he like performs in front of her.
Ugh.
But me?
Yikes.
Because he seems like he's, from what he's saying, I guess if he's all talk and no game, maybe he does want to die and become back as someone who can live up to the game.
But by the same token, Jenny Anydots' performance also happens before Old Deuteronomy gets there, but she is kidnapped.
Yeah. I guess maybe she was going to perform again.
I think they didn't think it out very well.
No, definitely not.
And
yeah, but you're right. Maybe she would have performed again. Time Slot was like, where is she? And no one cared at the time.
He heard how out of breath Jason Derulo sounded that entire song. I was like, oh, I got that guy beat. I don't have to worry about it.
Even if I take care of all the competition, there's no way they're going to pick Derulo.
He's like, I don't know about those cockroaches. I might have to get rid of Rebel Wilson, but Rum Tum Tugger got nothing. That guy is a scrub.
Yeah, I'm not worried. Jenny Anydots, however, she trained a lot of mice. Like, it's gross, but she did a lot of work for this performance.
Yeah.
I also love at the end where he's like, all right, it's like you said, it's got to be me. And then Judi Dench is just like, nah. And then he's like, please? Like, he's basically
like,
just like,
no.
He's like, I need someone with soul. He's like, I got soul. I got so much soul.
No, honey, you don't.
Like, ew, buddy, no.
Don't write it. Don't write in the paper that I was mad.
Also, the one change I would make to this movie, if I could, would be a minute montage of McCavity doing a bunch of different crimes.
That would probably help a lot.
Yeah. Support the lyrics.
Yeah. Show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Show, don't tell. I agree. Okay. Anything to say before we get to ratings?
I think I'm good. Otherwise, I'd just rant about a bunch of other different things about it.
I know.
Right? I had my main things out there, so that's what matters.
That is what matters. On a scale of 0.5 to 5, on any scale of your choosing, aside from stars, what would you give 2019's Tom Hooper film, Cats?
I would give this 1 Rumble teaser out of 5. No Mungo Jerry, because it's just I can't only Rumble teaser. Yep.
Cool.
Oh, I haven't thought of a scale.
I'm gonna give it 1 Mungo Jerry out of 5.
They're both there.
Yeah, they can't. They're separate though forever. They
Yeah,
can't ever talk.
yes.
I blacked out,
Different
guys.
kennels.
What happened?
Half of a weirdly CGI'd child mouse.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the added Taylor Swift song "Beautiful Ghosts." That was the attempt to win a Best Original Song Oscar.
I mean, it was nominated for a Golden Globe, guys.
Oh my god, that
song
actually sucks. Like,
it's so bad.
It's really bad.
That
guys,
song...
this is a Golden Globe nominated song. What are you saying?
So I'm gonna give
God,
this.
it wasn't. What's the Pitch Perfect 2-1 Flashlight? Like, at least it wasn't that. That's like that's the bottomest tier. But it was like, if that's a 1, that was like a 1.5.
I'll just say I give this 0.5 Beautiful Ghosts out of 5.
That's a 0.75 across the board.
I think so.
Yeah, your scale has gone down since the first episode.
I think I'm not enjoying it more over time.
It'll turn around. At some point,
I think
you'll get a 5.
That officially puts this lower than Mulholland Drive in the show's annals of low ratings.
Is this why you're doing Cats Month?
No. Just to knock Mulholland Drive out of the bottom 5 lowest rated film episodes. Maybe.
I've seen Mulholland Drive.
I don't think you're gonna rate it favorably.
Yeah, that's fair.
If I can, could I just give Mulholland Drive 5 out of 5 blue
that
keys?
That helps.
Now, please.
You know, the dumpster monster looks more like a cat is supposed to look than the cats in this movie.
Oh, I have seen the dumpster monster. Okay, I haven't seen this movie, but I've seen clips of this movie.
Yeah,
so
dumpster monster.
Scary.
The same actor that plays the nun in The Nun.
Huh.
There you go.
I will say that is an outrageously jump scare thing. Like that's wild that they accomplished that level of off-puttedness.
It's good. It's good stuff. And we're talking about the film Cats, right?
Yes.
Aha, we did it. The question this month, define jellicle.
No, you piece of shit. Oh no.
I'm gonna say it's like a version of a jelly donut.
I will this isn't an actual answer, I guess, but it is weird to me that Victoria shows up and they're like, "Are you a fucking jellicle cat?" And she's like, "What?" and they list a million things. And then she doesn't respond. And then they do 2 hours of movie. And then at the end, Judi Dench is just like, "Yeah, you're a jellicle cat."
I've seen my fair share of Angelico cats. You're one of them, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be a jellicle cat. We didn't talk about that part either. That is actually the thing that stood out the most to me on this most recent watch. When Judi Dench is breaking the fourth wall, which is my least favorite moment in cinema history.
Yeah.
So bad.
There's this time I focused on Robbie Fairchild, who plays Munkustrap.
They just stare at her. It's so weird. They just stare.
Two of the three stare at her. It's Victoria, Mr. Mistopheles, and Munkustrap.
Yep.
Robbie Fairchild, Munkustrap. I need to, so this is of a piece with the whole Tom Hooper of it all. I need to know what direction these actors were given. It's going to haunt me until I die, until I platinum crime. Because like two of them are just kind of staring at her, and sometimes they're like, "Oh, she's cooking," like, "Ooh, what's going on?" But Robbie Fairchild is alternating between terrified,
yep,
licking his lips with hunger,
yep.
Like he's starving and about to eat Judi Dench. He licks his lips like a dozen times. And a lot like, and then sometimes doing like it's exactly Joe Latrulio's face when Ken Marino is like on the raft and they don't show. And he's like, he's doing it. He's doing it.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
You did it. You did it.
Yeah. That's most of what he's doing for that whole scene that goes on forever. Memory happens like 20 minutes before the movie is over because they're just out in Trafalgar Square talking about how cats aren't dogs for 20 minutes after that.
Yeah, that whole last 20 minutes is such a drag.
Dude, yeah. I was literally out loud groaning every time they started singing again. It was just like...
They keep cutting back to Jennifer Hudson and she must be like, I really thought I'd be dead by now.
Hey, how are they going to do the Angelica Ball next year? She just took the one blimp they have.
That's not what it ended. I was like, do they build a new one every year?
Yeah.
Like, that's a chandelier.
They need a hot air chandelier to fly someone to the Heaviside Layer every year. Anyway, yeah, so that's, I don't like that part.
No,
that was a new thing I noticed this time. For the next time we all watch Cats, obviously we'll watch it again.
Obviously.
When you're around minute 100, the thing that you should pay attention to happens. Yeah, he's just like, or maybe just watch that scene again. He does like so many different facial expressions. I feel like it's taken from maybe a bunch of takes, or Tom Hooper was like, just have fun with this one. And like, I don't know.
I think it's specifically when Judi Dench talks about different kinds of food. And it's supposed to be like, food, and I'm hungry now because you mentioned food, which is still weird how like stoked he looks about it, because all she's doing is talking about it. But it is, there's at least some like reason for him doing that part. Yeah. But yeah, the rest of it is there's no explanation for.
I also find it weird, crazy that Judi Dench's final whatever Cat Dench, like her whole final like monologue straight to the camera. This is the whole thesis of the movie.
Cats aren't dogs.
Cats aren't dogs. Give them food.
That's how you address a cat.
That's how you address a cat. And then after every single fucking agonizing line, it then cuts to 40 other cats. The cat. Like, just, I can't stand it. Just fucking knock off Auld Lang Syne bullshit. I don't like it in the actual stage play either, but it's even worse in the fucking movie.
At least in the stage play, the absurdity of it still kind of works, and it's kind of like after all of this, they're now just talking. It starts off by like the whole like cats are just like people, except they have like go by their own rules and stuff like that. But then just start talking about how they're not dogs. I think it's very funny, but I feel like in the movie they don't capture it well enough, and it just kind of drags and it's just not funny and it's not entertaining. I honestly don't even know how they could fix it at that point, because I feel like everything else just kind of was ruined in the movie, that by that point I don't know what could have saved that scene.
And that scene in the stage play also, it's like she doesn't get in a giant fucking hot air balloon. They just kind of lead her off stage, like up a stairway.
Yeah, it's like a stairway to heaven kind of thing, and then she's gone.
Well, yeah, and they're like already singing, so it's like.
The original version's a stairway. Most of the productions after that, she's on like a flying saucer that does like go up.
Yeah, it depends on the production.
And with Andrew Lloyd Webber, I believe they told him, we can't give you another chandelier. You have to. That is out of the question.
You've broken 4 million chandeliers.
We can't have you make one into a hot air balloon. Sorry, Webb.
Wait until you read Don Juan Triumphant. That man's just breaking chandeliers left and right. He can't stop. He's giddy about it.
He really is. All right.
It would be really, it's really funny just to think about like Evita. There's just like a cut scene from Evita where she's just dumping chandeliers like off the fucking balcony the whole time.
Yeah.
For the people.
Stop.
Yeah. Mandy Patinkin singing High Flying Adored, but hanging from a chandelier. And you're like, oh, I know what he's trying to do.
Jesus Christ up on a chandelier.
They didn't even have chandeliers back then. It's like, yeah, they didn't have leather jackets either, but it's a little anachronistic.
I'm a goddamn baron. You can't. Joseph in the multicolored Technicolor chandelier.
Yeah. He's singing Close Every Door, breaking chandeliers. That's the only song I know from Joseph. He added a whole scene to Sunset Boulevard that is not from the movie where Norman Desmond breaks a chandelier. Starlight Express. There it's like a train, but they're on rollerblades. They break a chandelier. Anyway.
Oh, we have fun.
Yes.
We have fun. It feels like we've come to the end of this episode.
The addressing of the chandeliers. Oh, yeah. Bree has pointed out that James Corden won Worst Supporting Actor in the Golden Raspberries.
As he deserves.
Yeah, he deserves that. He's really bad in this film.
I did look up if he's been nominated or won any other Razzies. Unfortunately, no.
A shame.
Yes.
A huge shame.
That is as...
And he does have 12 Primetime Emmy Awards.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Well, people did like him for a while.
That's, I mean, this isn't an original thought, but that is the, I think, most dramatic downgrade in late night host from Craig Ferguson to him.
Yeah.
And the worst
maybe Conan back to
Leno.
Late stage Leno.
Honestly, the fact that it's even a we don't know between those two is not good.
Yeah.
I loved Craig Ferguson. I was a huge Craig Ferguson guy, probably more than most. And I unfortunately kind of liked Corden first because I was, you like Doctor Who, and it's like, oh, he's kind of got a little flash to him, and then you find out he's a huge piece of shit that yells at waiters and argues against his writing staff, and you're just kind of like, oh, it's all about you. And once you kind of hear that, it just kind of ruins it just kind of spoils the water in every direction. Cats.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm done. I got one more of these, and then it's Oscar season.
Who's in the last one as a tease?
I don't know.
Oh,
there's a few people who have indicated they might be down. I think I'm going to make Greg and Ray do it and say they can't be on an Oscars episode if they don't do a Cats episode. All right, we should end.
I gotta go. I gotta go see my parents.
I gotta go.
You got to get to the Heaviside Lair. So let's just say thanks for listening. You can find yourself on Linktree, linktr.ee/late to the movies. Thanks to Bree, Sam, and Vaz for catsing it up today.
Yo.
Meow.
Yo.
Oh, meow. And we'll catch you next time.
McCavity.